Chapter 91. Hearing the girl's calm, soft words, the black-robed person shrugged helplessly. He was slightly silent, and the aged voice slowly transmitted, "I think you have met me before in the Xiao clan." Lightly raising her snow-white legs, Huan Ni's beautiful eyes flowed. She asked casually in a soft voice, "What are you doing at the Jialai clan?" "Accepting a commission from someone to resolve some trouble." "Who commissioned you?" Her exquisite small face lifted into a calm smile. Huan Ni took a step forward. Her body actually floated in midair. The faint golden flame in her hand rapidly condensed. "Heh, little girl, I know you are very strong now, but trying to stop this old man with just this is still lacking." Yao Lao laughed. Huan Ni's willow eyebrows furrowed, but she said nothing. Her snow-white jade hand lifted. A golden flame emanated from her fingertip. Looking at Huan Ni's determined posture, the black-robed person suddenly felt a headache. Letting out a sigh, Yao Lao said helplessly, "I don't want to fight you. If you get hurt anywhere, that fellow will surely feel heartache." All right, I fear you. Someone played a prank on a young woman today, and that fellow happens to know me. So, I was called by him to undertake this difficult task." "Ah, don't mention it. This old man is so old. Yet he still has to run here in the middle of the night." Her long, slender eyelashes subtly blinked. Huan Ni's exquisite small face flushed slightly. Her small hands retracted, and the golden flame slowly dissipated. She glanced at the black-robed person and chuckled, "Old master truly has a relationship with brother Xiaoyan." "Heh, you could say that's true." Yao Lao laughed and said, "You probably already guessed that I have a relationship with Xiaoyan, didn't you? Before it was only speculation, but I didn't expect it to be accurate." Huan Ni shook her head and smiled. Standing in midair, she bowed to Yao Lao, saying with a smile, "Although I do not know the old master's background, brother Xiaoyan was able to discard his past dejection 1 year ago. It must be somewhat related to you." Yao Lao smiled indifferently, refusing to comment. Her beautiful eyes stared fixedly at the black-robed person. Huan Ni smiled sweetly and said softly, "Regardless of the old master's purpose in approaching brother Xiaoyan, I still request that the old master absolutely harbor no ill intentions toward brother Xiaoyan. Otherwise, Huan Ni will eliminate anyone who threatens brother Xiaoyan, no matter who they are. Perhaps the old master is very powerful, but trust Huan Ni, I have the ability to fulfill my words." TSK, very good. What a powerful girl. Hearing Huan Ni's calm words that contained a threat, Yao Lao was startled, then chuckled. "I simply do not want brother Xiaoyan to be deceived or hurt by others." Laughing softly, Huan Ni once again bowed to Yao Lao, saying with a smile, "It is getting late. Huan Ni must return. Having met the old master tonight, please do not tell brother Xiaoyan." "Don't worry, I won't say a single word." Yao Lao nodded. He inwardly teased, because he already heard it himself. Seeing Yao Lao agree, Huan Ni smiled. Just as she was about to turn back, a blue shadow suddenly shot through the air. Slightly startled, Huan Ni waved her small hand, sucking it into her grasp. Looking at the jade bottle in her hand, Huan Ni trembled. Her eyes looked towards the black-robed person. "You used a secret technique. You might be a little weak for the next few days. Keep this bottle of qi nurturing pill, Duong Kai Tan. Recover quickly, so you don't look too haggard and cause someone to feel heartache," Yao Lao said with a calm smile. Hearing this, Huan Ni's small face flushed red. Clenching the jade bottle, she nodded gratefully towards the black-robed person. Her feet lightly tapped in the air. Her body quickly merged into the darkness, gradually disappearing. Standing, watching the figure disappear. At the edge of his sight, Yao Lao suddenly sighed softly. He muttered, "That little brat secretly entered her room, and took care of her when she was a child. It truly was effective, ah. He carelessly won the heart of a girl. AI, speaking of which, your luck truly makes people jealous, ah. Beneath the black cloak, Xiaoyan rubbed his nose. He also understood in his heart that if it weren't for the incident when she was a child, Huan Ni's attitude toward him would probably be no different from Xiaoning and the others after she grew up. Of course, that was a hypothesis. But the truth in front of him was, who told him that he barged in when the girl's heart was most vulnerable. Moreover, she already had a mark belonging to him in her heart. Smiling slightly smugly, Xiaoyan clasped his hands behind his head casually. He then allowed Yao Lao to control his body, quickly rushing towards the Xiao clan. After returning to the Xiao clan, Xiaoyan, afraid that Huan Ni would discover him, took extra care to pass through the area where Huan Ni lived. Only then did he descend outside his room. He quickly slipped inside, gently locking the door and closing the window. Entering the room, Xiaoyan quickly removed the black cloak and stored it in his storage ring. Only then did he let out a heavy sigh. Collapsing onto the bed, he muttered softly with reluctance, "AI, it truly was a wonderful night." The morning after and a new plan. The next morning, when Xiaoyan woke up, the sun was already high in the sky. The warm, bright sunlight shone in through the crack in the window, leaving mottled spots on the ground and simultaneously brightening the room a bit. Even after waking up, Xiaoyan's eyes were still drowsy. He sat on the bed in a daze for a long while. He shook his head to clear the remaining sleepiness from his mind. He slowly recovered his senses. He reluctantly got out of bed and casually went to wash his face. Just as he finished washing his face, a knock on the door and a girl's soft, sweet voice rang out, "Brother Xiaoyan, are you not awake yet?" Hearing this voice, Xiaoyan's eyebrows slightly furrowed. He quickly finished washing his face, then went to open the room door. Creak. The room door slowly opened. As the room door opened, the blazing sunlight suddenly shone in, making Xiaoyan instinctively squint his eyes. After a moment, he slowly opened them, shifting his gaze to the girl in green standing at the door. Huan Ni today was still in a green dress, complemented by an unworldly aura, which made the youth in the room unable to help but inwardly sigh. His gaze casually swept over Huan Ni's slender, exquisite figure, finally settling on her small, somewhat pale face. His eyebrows couldn't help but furrow slightly. "What's wrong?" Her eyes widened, staring intently at Xiaoyan's expression. Finding that besides the hint of blame, there was nothing else, Huan Ni immediately smiled sweetly and said, "I'm feeling a bit unwell, it's nothing major." Unwell? His eyes narrowed. Xiaoyan stepped out of the room, closed the door tightly, and suddenly pulled Huan Ni's small jade hand. Controlling a gentle dou qi with his consciousness, he slowly circulated it through Huan Ni's body. After a moment, Xiaoyan retracted his dou qi with an unchanged expression. He sighed softly in his heart. It seemed that Huan Ni's use of the secret technique last night truly consumed a lot of vital energy. Now, there were only a few traces of dou qi circulating in her body. This was clearly the side effect of using the secret technique. It was early morning now. Quite a few clan members were already awake. Seeing Xiaoyan and Huan Ni standing intimately beside each other, they couldn't help but look envious. "Brother Xiaoyan." Huan Ni's flushed face struggled to break free from Xiaoyan's hand, and she said softly, "What exactly did you do? You are this weak now." Releasing Huan Ni's small hand, Xiaoyan's face was stern, and he scolded in a low voice. Her intelligent eyes widened, looking at Xiaoyan's stern expression. Finding nothing unusual, Huan Ni secretly let out a sigh of relief. She smiled and said, "I cultivated a certain skill yesterday that required pushing past my limits, which is why I became like this. It will heal in a few days. Brother Xiaoyan doesn't need to worry." Rolling his eyes, Xiaoyan shook his head helplessly. After eating breakfast with Huan Ni in the clan, he found an excuse and quietly slipped out of the clan. He strolled around Wuten City, conveniently inquiring about some news related to the Jiaolai clan. Lu Shi's disappearance should have caused quite a commotion in the Jiaolai clan, but he hadn't found any unusual activity from them. The market area was still open, selling pills, no different from usual. This Jiaolai Bai truly lives up to his name as clan leader. He actually managed to conceal this news. But you can hide it for one day, can you hide it for an entire month? When the wound medicine is sold out, let's see what you do. Laughing coldly, Xiaoyan pondered for a moment, then walked towards the Mitel auction house in the city center. At a secluded spot outside the auction house, Xiaoyan once again put on the voluminous black cloak, concealing his entire body. Only then did he slowly walk into the auction house with the flow of people. As soon as he entered the auction house, Xiaoyan was respectfully led into the guest room by a beautiful maid, a common occurrence. After sitting leisurely in the room for a while, Yafei appeared in front of Xiaoyan with a graceful figure and a hearty laugh. You truly are a frequent visitor, little brother Xiaoyan. Why are you free to visit the auction house today? Lifting the teacup, Yafei personally poured Xiaoyan a cup of tea and said with a calm smile. Whether intentional or unintentional, Yafei, who was wearing a qipao, revealed a captivating expanse of white skin on her chest as she leaned over to pour the tea. The alluring figure, faintly visible, made Xiaoyan's eyes reveal a subtle difference. Ahem. His gaze was nearly lost in that captivating space, but Xiaoyan's composure was not bad after all. He coughed and forcibly moved his eyes, looking at the faint blue color of the tea in the cup. He then took out the red storage ring from his chest, extracting 5 small jade bottles from it. He said indifferently, I came today to fulfill the agreement. Because Yafei already knew his identity, Xiaoyan did not let Yao Lao speak on his behalf but spoke directly to Yafei. Yafei's eyes, since the appearance of the jade bottles, were fixed intently on her seductive, smiling face. A look of both joy and surprise appeared. Looking at Xiaoyan sitting casually in the chair, Yafei carefully picked up the jade bottles. She subtly sensed their weight, then tilted the opening of one bottle. A smooth, pale green pill rolled out. She subtly sniffed the pill. A medicinal fragrance filled her nose. Yafei's beautiful eyes narrowed. Her plump chest rose and fell rhythmically, a sight that made others crave her. After a long while, she carefully stored the pill away. She turned to Xiaoyan and revealed a beautiful, seductive smile. It seems little brother Xiaoyan is preparing to act against the Jiaolai clan. Why else would you fulfill the agreement so early? Hearing this, Xiaoyan noncommittally shrugged. He took out a piece of paper from his chest. Several types of medicinal ingredients were listed on it. These medicinal ingredients were all for nourishing qi, and were, of course, prepared for the girl Huan Ni. Seeing her pale, weak face, Xiaoyan truly felt a little heartache. Accepting the paper from Xiaoyan's hand, Yafei, having had prior experience, knew Xiaoyan's intention. Without any unnecessary talking, she immediately called a maid over. She then instructed the maid to quickly prepare the items. Sitting casually in the guest room, Xiaoyan was slightly silent. He suddenly asked softly, the Jiaolai clan is still sourcing medicinal ingredients from other cities, right? And the Jiaolai clan is currently cooperating with a medicinal ingredient clan in Tualan City. However, the medicinal ingredients they purchase there are 4 times more expensive than in Wuten City. Yafei nodded and said with a smile. They truly are unwilling to give up. Shaking his head humorously, Xiaoyan smiled and said, can you provide me with some intelligence information about their transportation route? Hearing this, Yafei, who was holding the teacup, subtly trembled her jade hand. Her beautiful eyes looked at the youth beside her in astonishment. After being silent for a long while, she hesitantly said, "What are you planning to do?" "Seize the medicinal ingredients." Laughing bitterly, Ye Fei sighed, "The Jiaolai clan is truly unlucky to provoke a little killing star like you." Shaking his head and remaining silent, Xiaoyan stood up and walked towards the back of the guest room. After a moment, he returned with a scroll in his hand. He handed it to Ye Fei and whispered, "I received some intelligence from the auction house in Tualan City. 2 days ago, the Jiaolai clan once again purchased medicinal ingredients worth 400,000 gold coins. This batch of medicinal ingredients should arrive in Wuten City by noon tomorrow. The Jiaolai clan only paid 100,000 gold coins for these medicinal ingredients. The remaining 300,000 were purchased on credit. The team escorting the medicinal ingredients is from the Jiaolai clan's guard. There are 3 Dou masters and 1 great Dou master among them, with several dozen Dou practitioner guards. 400,000. What a grand gesture." Smiling softly, Xiaoyan stored the scroll in his storage ring. His smile gradually turned cold. "Without these medicinal ingredients, let's see how they explain themselves to the medicinal ingredient clan. The Jiaolai clan is already near bankruptcy. If they owe another 300,000, even a lean camel will die." Raising his head and looking at the maid bringing the medicinal ingredients, Xiaoyan cupped his hands to Ye Fei in thanks. He walked forward, accepted the medicinal ingredients, and then left the main hall without looking back. Sitting in the chair, watching Xiaoyan walk away resolutely, Ye Fei laughed bitterly and shook her head. She let out a soft sigh. This little fellow's method of operation truly doesn't match his age. Old man Jiaolai Bai is probably finished this time. Ambush plan. On the wide road, 7 or 8 carriages were slowly traveling. The scorching sun made the guards around the carriages drenched in sweat. The hot weather caused continuous shouting and cursing on the road. Jiaolai Nu was the second elder of the Jiaolai clan. His current strength had increased to 3-star Great Dou Master. Such strength was considered a powerhouse in Wuten City. His presence as the escort team for this batch of medicinal ingredients showed how much the Jiaolai clan valued these ingredients now. However, Jiaolai Nu had not yet received the news that Lushi had gone missing. If he had, he would likely have immediately brought this expensive pile of medicinal ingredients back. Sitting in the carriage, Jiaolai Nu sat cross-legged. No matter how the carriage jolted, his body remained completely still. Enduring this for 3 or 4 days truly made him, who was used to a comfortable life, a bit impatient. This is all the fault of that damned Shao clan. I will make you pay for this sooner or later. Gritting his teeth, Jiaolai Nu slightly tilted his head backward. His eyes peered through the window. He looked at the neatly arranged low-level medicinal ingredients behind him. A hint of helplessness appeared on his otherwise expressionless face. Although storage rings could make transportation convenient, the low-grade storage rings only had about 2 or 3 cubic meters of space. Transporting this batch of medicinal ingredients would require at least 5 rings. However, storage rings were expensive and rare. Even the entire Jiaolai clan only possessed 2 rings. Therefore, they had no choice but to transport them by carriage. Rubbing his eyes tiredly, Jiaolai Nu was about to rest for a while, but he noticed the carriage in front suddenly stopped. Furthermore, he vaguely heard shouting. Raising his eyebrows, Jiaolai Nu's face slightly sank. They had already entered the territory of Wuten City. Who dared to stop them? Here. His pupils flashed with cold light. Jiaolai Nu nodded slightly. He jumped out of the carriage and quickly walked to the front of the convoy. He indeed saw a large rock placed in the middle of the road. A black-robed person sat casually on it. Although he couldn't see the black-robed person's face, Jiao Lai Nu could tell that the person's eyes seemed to hold malicious intent. Who are you? Why are you blocking our path? Jiao Lai Nu's eyes swept over the black-robed person. He said in a deep voice. You must be the Jiao Lai clan people, right? The aged voice slowly transmitted from beneath the black cloak. Jiao Lai Nu's face subtly twitched. He was gloomy. He waved his arm. The several dozen guards behind him immediately drew their weapons, looking hostilely at the black-robed person. Oh, it seems I didn't find the wrong target. Looking at Jiao Lai Nu's reaction, the black-robed person smiled indifferently. He leaped off the large rock and slowly walked towards the convoy. Jiao Lai Nu looked coldly at the approaching black-robed person. He took a huge bow and arrow from a nearby guard. He pulled the bowstring taut. As his hand released, the arrow transformed into a fierce force that shot cunningly towards the black-robed person's throat. The arrow whistled through the air, but just as it reached 1 meter in front of the black-robed person, a ball of white flame appeared. The arrow entered the flame and instantly turned into black ashes. Seeing this scene, Jiao Lai Nu's face slightly changed. A sense of unease rose in his heart. Judging by this black-robed person, his strength was no less than a great Do master. Slowly letting out a breath, Jiao Lai Nu took a blue spear from behind a person. Blue Do Qi emanated from his body. The air nearby became slightly humid. Clearly, the Do Qi technique he cultivated was the cold water attribute. Clenching the spear, Jiao Lai Nu stared intently at the black-robed person. His body slightly adjusted. He suddenly took a step forward. His body transformed into a ray of blue light, directly attacking the unmoving black-robed person. In mid-air, Jiao Lai Nu's face was stern. The spear in his hand suddenly twisted. Do Qi light shone from the spear everywhere. A sound rang out. Layered wave attack. Lang Trong deep. Layered wave attack, a low level. Profound rank Do skill, was the highest level Do skill Jiao Lai Nu had mastered so far. Long-term cultivation had made him master this Do skill perfectly. When using it with full strength, even a 6-star Great Do master wouldn't dare to take it lightly. Following Jiao Lai Nu's angry shout, the blue light on the spear instantly transformed into a giant blue wave. The giant wave surged up, finally rushing towards the unmoving black-robed person. The guards around the convoy immediately cheered loudly, seeing the second elder unleash his power. On previous supply runs, they had encountered a few bandits, but without exception, the bandits all became ghosts under Jiao Lai Nu's spear. Everyone now believed that the black-robed person would also become a ghost under Jiao Lai Nu's spear. The giant blue wave rolled across the sky. A small light spot within the giant wave suddenly emitted a brilliant light. The spear pierced towards the black-robed person's head. Like a flash of lightning. Die. Seeing the target so close, Jiao Lai Nu's face turned cold. Force surged from the spear. The spear was about to reach his head. The black-robed person slowly looked up. A delicate youth's face, under the sunlight, suddenly appeared in Jiao Lai Nu's eyes. What? Why is it the Shao clan's brat? Looking at this familiar face, Jiao Lai Nu's pupils contracted. Killing intent greatly surged in his heart at this moment. The spear got closer and closer, but just as the attack was about to hit, a ball of white flame fiercely erupted from the black-robed person's body, finally sweeping up Jiao Lai Nu in midair. The ball of white flame appeared in the sky. Everyone noticed that their skin suddenly felt cold. The spear shadow, the figure. Everything vanished without a trace. On the main road, the cheers of the Jiao Lai clan's guards suddenly fell silent. Their wide-open mouths suddenly closed. The look of triumph on their faces slowly turned into terror. They looked at the black-robed person as if seeing a demon. Indifferently glancing at the guards, the black-robed person slowly exposed his hand. Several balls of white flame slowly appeared. He flicked his finger lightly, and the flames shot towards the carriages in front of the crowd, floating towards the several carriages on the road. Boom! A soft, dull sound. The medicinal ingredients inside the carriages were instantly reduced to ashes, just like that, before the eyes of the Jiaolai clan's people. What? The medicinal ingredients were all destroyed by someone. What about the second elder? Where is he? In the main hall, a furious roar echoed. The trembling guard knelt close to Jiaolai Bai. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva in terror and said in shock, the second elder was killed along with the destruction of the medicine. The angry look on Jiaolai Bai's face suddenly froze. His heels suddenly felt weak. He immediately sat down on the chair behind him. His face was pale. Jiaolai Nu was one of the Jiaolai clan's 3 great Dou masters. His death was definitely a huge loss for the Jiaolai clan. Looking at Jiaolai Bai's appearance, the messenger guard looked miserable. In his mind, he kept recalling the black-robed person's terrifying strength. It was hard to imagine that the second elder, with his 3-star great Dou master strength, was burned to ashes by the mysterious person's flame. The terrifying scene made everyone present at that time feel fear. Who killed the second elder? After sitting in the chair for a while, Jiaolai Bai finally recovered. His voice was somewhat hoarse. Clearly, Jiaolai Nu's death had dealt him a huge blow. I don't know. That person wore a black cloak, and no one saw his face. However, he could control a ball of white flame, and the second elder was killed by this flame. The guard shook his head and said softly, "Black cloak. Controlling a white flame." Briefly silent. Jiaolai Bai's face slightly changed. Controlling a flame to injure an opponent was undoubtedly the method alchemists preferred most. And an alchemist who had a grudge with the Jiaolai clan and could easily kill Jiaolai Nu. With these conditions, the image of the black-robed alchemist he encountered by chance at the auction house that day immediately flashed in Jiaolai Bai's mind. Thinking of Yafei and Guni's respectful treatment of the black-robed alchemist that day, Jiaolai Bai suddenly felt a bitter taste in his mouth. They were wrong from the very beginning. At that time, upon hearing Lu Shi's words, they thought the Shao clan was lucky enough to invite only an ordinary alchemist. But now, the truth told them that the Shao clan's alchemist was many times stronger than the quack alchemist, Lu Shi. Slowly shaking his head, Jiaolai Bai's eyes revealed resentment and anger. Now, the batch of medicinal ingredients worth 400,000 gold coins had been destroyed. Furthermore, due to financial issues, they still owed the medicinal ingredient clan in Dan Le City 300,000 gold coins for purchasing these medicinal ingredients. The medicinal ingredient clan that cooperated with the Jiaolai clan was a considerable power in Dan Le City. Once they learned the news that the medicinal ingredients were destroyed, they would surely send people to demand payment, but the Jiaolai clan's current financial situation was dry. How could they repay this huge debt? If they couldn't repay it, the Jiaolai clan's reputation would surely be ruined. Damn it! Thinking of this, Jiaolai Bai slammed his hand heavily onto the table beside him. The hard table made of black wood shattered. Wood chips flew, hitting the side of the guard's face, but he still had to bow in acknowledgement. Taking a deep breath, Jiaolai Bai forcefully suppressed the anger and resentment towards the Shao clan in his heart. He looked composed and said indifferently, "Take the remaining wound medicine in the warehouse and distribute it to all the market areas. In addition, you must tell everyone who knows about today's matter to keep their mouths shut. Anyone who leaks this will be dealt with according to clan rules." "Yes." The guard's body slightly trembled. He respectfully answered, then stood up and quickly retreated. Looking at the empty hall, Jiaolai Bai tiredly leaned back in his chair. If the Jiaolai clan could escape this disaster, their power would surely decline greatly. From now on, They would find it difficult to stand against the Xiao clan. Thinking of this, Jiao Lai sighed inexplicably. He wondered why he now felt a hint of regret for proactively provoking the Xiao clan in the beginning. But regretting now was too late. You are reading the story copied at Tree in full. After completing this matter, Xiao Yan returned to his original identity. He returned to the clan and asked Yao Lao to refine a qi-nurturing pill. He then eagerly gave it to Huan Ni. Seeing the girl holding the pill, her eyes slightly reddened. Xiao Yan felt a sense of satisfied vanity. For several days after Xiao Yan destroyed the medicinal ingredients, the Jiaolai clan in Wutan City still maintained a look of calm. However, attentive individuals could notice that previously, the Jiaolai clan's members often came to cause trouble at the Xiao clan's market area, but in the past few days, the usually arrogant Jiaolai clan's members seemed to have restrained themselves, showing no activity, which made everyone feel confused. Xiao clan, Council Main Hall. What is the Jiaolai clan up to recently? Why do they seem to be yielding to us? Receiving reports over the past few days, Xiao Zhan frowned. He raised his doubt in the main hall, asking the three elders. Exchanging glances, the three elders all shook their heads. After a moment of silence, the first elder said, "This old fox, Jiaolai Bai, is acting strangely. He might be planning some trick. We still need to be adequately prepared." Xiao Zhan nodded. A cautious person like him would naturally not relax his guard just because of the Jiaolai clan's superficial actions. His eyes wandered around. Xiao Zhan looked at Xiao Yan dozing on the chair. He shook his head helplessly. This little fellow seemed completely uninterested in the clan's affairs. "Yenner, have you met that old master recently?" Lifting his teacup and taking a sip, Xiao Zhan asked casually. Hearing Xiao Zhan's question, the three elders also turned their eyes to Xiao Yan. The importance of that old master to the Xiao clan went without saying, yet he seemed partial to Xiao Yan but had never actually met him. Everyone was envious of Xiao Yan for receiving such special treatment. Reluctantly opening his eyes, Xiao Yan said glumly, "I met him." After a slight pause, he added, "That old master said he wants to take me as his disciple." Hearing Xiao Yan's words, Xiao Zhan's hand, holding the teacup, suddenly froze. He looked up. His face was extremely excited as he stared intently at the youth sitting in the chair. He swallowed and said with some disbelief, "You said the old master wants to take you as his disciple?" Looking at Xiao Zhan's ecstatic, agitated expression and the twitching faces of the three elders on the side, Xiao Yan nodded listlessly. "Good, good, good." His face flushed red. He drank the tea in his cup in one go. Xiao Zhan stood up excitedly, walking back and forth in the main hall. He happily rubbed his hands. "I knew my son was not ordinary. Damn it, if anyone dares to say my son is trash again, this old man will instantly strike him dead." Looking at Xiao Zhan's agitated state, Xiao Yan said softly and helplessly, "In half a month, I want to leave with master for external training. It might take a year or even longer to return." "Ah?" Xiao Zhan was stunned. His smiling face quickly retracted. He frowned and asked tentatively, "Aren't you going to participate in the Jianan Academy's examination? That is a famous high-level academy throughout the Douqi continent. If you can enter, it will be very beneficial for you. The examination can wait for a year or two later." Xiao Yan rubbed his nose and said with a calm smile, "Although the Jianan Academy is good, they cannot help me surpass Nailan Yenran within 2 years." Xiao Yan smiled. His gaze slowly swept across the main hall. The arrogant woman had been right here, claiming he was utterly unworthy of her dignity. Hearing Xiao Yan mention the taboo in his heart, Xiao Zhan's face subtly twitched. He remained silent. Standing up, Xiao Yan reluctantly clasped his hands behind his head and slowly walked out of the main hall. The youth's calm laughter lingered in the main hall. Since she made an agreement with me that year, I will naturally honor the agreement. It's not about making her expand her horizons, it's just that when I fulfill the agreement, I want to casually say one sentence, your eyesight is still very poor. After a few days, the quantity of wound medicine sold daily in the Jialai clan's market areas in Wutian City became increasingly scarce. Until the very last day, the final bottle of wound medicine was sold out. The Jialai clan members had no choice but to awkwardly force a smile towards the mercenaries struggling outside the door. We are extremely sorry, but our store needs to temporarily close due to a crisis in inventory. Standing outside the market, upon hearing this, the mercenaries who were pushing and shoving immediately became quiet. They glared fiercely at the vendor for a long while before finally dispersing with loud complaints. After dispersing, a few mercenaries loudly cursed without restraint, causing the vendor's face to turn pale with anger. The Jialai clan's wound medicine was almost entirely sold out. In less than an hour, nearly all of Wutian City knew the news. Immediately, some people were stunned, some secretly gloated, and others sighed with regret. Without the wound medicine to hold them up, the Jialai clan's fight against the Shao clan would undoubtedly end in a miserable failure. And having gone through this great defeat, the Jialai clan was clearly severely weakened. In the future, it would be difficult for them to recover their former glory in Wutian City. Shao clan, Council Main Hall. The Jialai clan's wound medicine is sold out. Hearing the subordinate's report, Xiaozhan was momentarily stunned. He then stood up, his face revealing an uncontrollable look of joy. The three elders likewise excitedly exchanged glances. Their faces also showed wild joy. Xiaozhan agitatedly paced back and forth in the main hall. After a long while, he finally suppressed the joy in his heart. He smiled and asked the messenger below, "What about that alchemist, Lu Shi?" "I don't know. Since the day Jialai Ao and Lu Shi clashed with young Master Xiao Yan, we haven't seen this person appear again." Hearing this, Xiaozhan and the three elders were startled. Their gazes all shifted to Xiao Yan, who was sitting in the chair. "Why are you looking at me? This matter is not related to me." Looking at the four people staring intently at him, Xiao Yan rolled his eyes innocently. Xiaozhan helplessly shook his head. He didn't believe Xiao Yan's words at all. "Not related to you? Then why did the person disappear right after clashing with you?" "That's right, clan leader. I coincidentally overheard a piece of information from someone in the Jialai clan, Jialai knew. The second elder was killed by a mysterious black-robed person while transporting medicinal ingredients." The messenger below suddenly said softly after a slight hesitation. Pacing in the main hall, Xiaozhan's steps suddenly stiffened. His eyelid twitched. He quickly nodded and waved his hand, signaling the messenger to retreat. His eyes stared fixedly at Xiao Yan and he laughed, "Yenna. Only your master could easily kill a 3-star Great Dou master like Jialai Nu. No one else in Wutian City has that kind of strength." Xiao Yan rubbed his nose. He let out a sigh. He nodded helplessly, "Jialai Nu is indeed dead." Hearing Xiao Yan confirm it with his own mouth, Xiaozhan likewise sighed slightly. The Shao clan and the Jialai clan had fought for decades. Yet they were gradually defeated because of one youth. This feeling. Xiaozhan laughed bitterly inside. "I know that old master helped our Shao clan mostly because of you. But when you are free, you should still thank him on behalf of our Shao clan. We owe him many favors." Xiao Yan shrugged. He nodded casually. "Next, let's see how the Jialai clan handles this messy situation." Xiaozhan chuckled. The laughter revealed an unconcealed sense of schadenfreude. The wound medicine used to compete for the market was gone. The Jialai clan's miserable failure was a certainty. This defeat severely weakened the Jialai clan's vitality. In contrast, the Xiao clan gained great profit from this conflict. In just 2 short months, the Xiao clan, who were nearly plunged into a deep abyss, had managed to turn defeat into victory. The profit gained from the wound medicine was not only equal to their normal annual income, but the Xiao clan in Wutian City was now powerful, having clearly surpassed the Jialai clan and the Aoba clan. Furthermore, because of Xiao Yan, the Mitel auction house continuously fostered a good relationship with the Xiao clan. All these conditions made the Xiao clan the top power in Wutian City. However, even though the Jialai clan suffered a miserable defeat this time, a centipede still has 100 legs. Even without the profit from the wound medicine, the Jialai clan's power should still not be underestimated. The armed forces the clan had cultivated for many years in Wutian City were not something many people would dare to provoke. The Jialai clan was also very clear that the Xiao clan was truly powerful now. Knowing that resistance was futile, they acted like ordinary poisonous snakes, quietly waiting, secretly hoping for an opportunity to counterattack their opponent. However, this kind of self-imposed seclusion did not last long. 2 days after the news that the Jialai clan's wound medicine was depleted, the medicinal ingredient clan from Tuolan City sent 2 great Dou masters leading a group of people. They fiercely entered the Jialai clan and very politely demanded Jialai Bai to pay the 300,000 gold coins debt for the medicinal ingredients within 2 days. This action by the medicinal ingredient clan from Tuolan City was like a heavy blow to the head of the Jialai clan. However, no matter how angry Jialai Bai was in his heart, he did not dare to offend a power that was even stronger than the Jialai clan at this moment. Thus, he could only grit his teeth and endure, desperately trying to raise money to pay the debt. However, the Jialai clan tried every means possible but only managed to gather 100,000 gold coins. Compared to the debt, it was undoubtedly a long way off. With no other choice, Jialai Bai had to ask for help from the powers with whom he usually maintained good relations. But seeing the Jialai clan's current predicament, and the Xiao clan lurking like a tiger nearby, would the former allies of the Jialai clan dare to help? Helping the Jialai clan at this time would undoubtedly offend the Xiao clan. Therefore, even though the Jialai clan offered to sell over half of their assets, it was still not enough to repay the debt. In the Jialai clan, Jialai Bai's face was gloomy. After a moment of furious rage, he bitterly came up with a suggestion that shocked everyone in the clan: selling the markets. The Jialai clan owned 3 medium-sized and 4 small market areas in Wutian City. The ones Jialai Bai prepared to sell this time were the 3 medium-sized market areas, which were the most popular and prosperous of the Jialai clan's markets. As soon as this suggestion was raised, it not only caused a strong reaction from the Jialai clan's members, but it also shocked everyone in Wutian City. One must know that the profit earned from the markets basically accounted for 50% of the Jialai clan's income. That Jialai Bai would resort to selling the markets showed that the Jialai clan was now at its wits' end. Opening a market only required someone to invest in it to make a profit. However, there were only over 10 large market areas in Wutian City. These markets were usually monopolized by the Jialai clan, the Xiao clan, and the Aoba clan. The income of all 3 clans from the markets did not primarily come from trade, but mainly from casinos and brothels. Therefore, when people learned that the Jialai clan was preparing to sell the markets, many people paid attention, but were not too enthusiastic. Currently, the popularity in Wutian City was almost monopolized by the Xiao clan's market. Aside from the Xiao clan's market area, which was making huge profits across the board, the other markets could only maintain normal operations. Buying a market now would undoubtedly not yield much profit, and anyone who bought the Jialai clan's market would be offending the Xiao clan. Therefore, many people who initially intended to buy the market reluctantly abandoned the idea. The suggestion to sell the markets, which they thought would solve the problem, led the Jialai clan to taste embarrassment once again. They never expected the Xiao clan to be so powerful now. The 2-day deadline was now approaching, but Jiao Laibai still hadn't gathered enough money to repay the debt. He was so anxious that sweat poured from his head. However, just as Jiao Laibai was extremely worried, a stranger walked in. The two negotiated the price eloquently until noon. In the end, the person bought 2 of the Jiao Lai clan's market areas for the cheap price of 200,000 gold coins. This made Jiao Laibai's face so gloomy, he looked like he wanted to kill someone. The other person smugly put the transfer contract into his chest and swaggered out of the Jiao Lai clan. With the extra 200,000 gold coins, the Jiao Lai clan managed to send away the medicinal ingredient clan. Looking at the group of people, who were no different from bandits, leaving after demanding payment, Jiao Laibai nearly cried. Just as the debt collectors left, a clan member rushed in to report that the 2 market areas just sold had been transferred to the Shao clan. Hearing this news, Jiao Laibai was stunned. Anger rushed to his heart, and he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, then fainted. Looking at everyone frantically carrying Jiao Laibai to his room, all the Jiao Lai clan's members sighed miserably. From now on in Wutian City, the Jiao Lai clan was considered to have completely declined and become a second-tier power. Wutian City. The economic confrontation between the 2 major clans finally ended with the Shao clan's victory. The Jiao Lai clan failed and their power rapidly shrank. It would be difficult for them to recover their former glory. The process of the 2 major clans' competition circulated repeatedly in Wutian City, then gradually faded into the past. Everyone's attention was now focused on a new important event, the Jianan Academy's student recruitment. As one of the famous high-level academies on the Douqi continent, the Jianan Academy was the dream of almost every youth. As long as one could enter the academy, their future would be almost entirely smooth. They could not only return home with great honor but also become an object of contention for other powers. The Jianan Academy is located near the intersection of the Jiama Empire and 2 other major empires. In this area, the Jianan Academy has virtually become a small nation. Normally, the 3 major empires surrounding a place that maintains a neutral stance would not stand idly by, as they could not guarantee that their opponent would not utilize this power, posing a threat to the empire's defense. Of course, this only happens to small, weak powers that are surrounded. As for a power whose strength is sufficient to contend with the 3 major empires, the 3 major empires have to quietly cease all thoughts of intervention. Thus, they have no choice but to let the Jianan Academy occupy the area near the empires like a giant dragon, and no one dares to provoke it. And through years of development, the Jianan Academy has now become a famous high-level academy on the Douqi continent. Furthermore, it has a subtle relationship with the royal families of the 3 major empires, which only further enhanced the academy's reputation among the populace of the 3 major empires. The ability of the 3 major empires, who are like fire and water, to maintain peace for nearly 100 years is largely due to the Jianan Academy's subtle restraint. With all these favorable factors, the Jianan Academy's prestige became increasingly strong in the 3 major empires. Every year, the Jianan Academy sends a large number of mentors to recruit talented students in the 3 major empires. Towards this action by the Jianan Academy, the royal families of the 3 major empires agreed in unison. After all, the academy is not a sect, and it has no excessive constraints. After graduation, most students choose to return to their home country. The royal families of the 3 major empires, if not completely foolish, naturally would not refuse this opportunity to indirectly increase their national strength. In the next few days, the Jianan Academy's recruitment mentors will arrive in Wutian City. Therefore, all the attention in Wutian City, which was previously focused on the confrontation between the 2 major clans, has now shifted to the Jianan Academy's student recruitment event. This shift in focus made Xiaoyan, who had been under constant scrutiny recently, let out a soft sigh. The Jianan Academies. Recruitment focuses on cultivation talent. Those with status but insufficient talent will always find it difficult to enter. Of course, this is not absolute. If you have a powerful force backing you, and if you offer a huge tuition fee contribution to the academy, the Jianan Academy will not refuse to accept you. Because the Jianan Academy's recruitment does not prioritize social status. All the young people in Wutan City, regardless of whether they are little beggars or small thieves, are now filled with anticipation for the arrival of the recruitment mentors. As long as they are lucky enough to pass the test, they can escape their previous lowly profession and become a respected Dou practitioner. Under this exciting atmosphere, the air in Wutan City was even more lively. Then during the Lunar New Year. Every day when the city gates opened, many eyes watched intently. Compared to others who were filled with anticipation, Xiaoyan was extremely busy now. Because he was about to leave for a long time, he was practically refining wound medicine non-stop during this period. Looking at Xiaoyan's desperate appearance, Yao Lao felt distressed and had no choice but to assist him. With the help of Yao Lao, an alchemist of unknown rank, a continuous stream of finished wound medicine products was added to the Shao clan's warehouse. Based on the current quantity, as long as the Shao clan manages their sales well, they will have enough inventory to sell for a year without depletion. Looking at this pile of wound medicine, the immense profit gained would likely make many people's eyes red with envy. The intensive pill refinement, although making Xiaoyan extremely exhausted, also allowed him to control the Dou Qi in his body with increasing proficiency. His control over the temperature of the flame also became more and more skilled. This progress earned continuous praise from Yao Lao. Currently, Xiaoyan's success rate in refining blood coagulation powder has reached nearly 60%. Such a success rate could only be achieved by an experienced second-rank alchemist. Compared to his rapid progress in alchemy, Xiaoyan's personal strength also slowly increased with the aid of some spiritual liquid formulated by Yao Lao. After finishing the refinement of the last batch of wound medicine, during one cultivation session, the Dou Qi in Xiaoyan's body gathered, flowing together like rivers converging. It then broke through smoothly, advancing him to the 4-star Dou practitioner rank. You are reading the story at Triunful www.Triunful. Xiaoyan was filled with joy over this unexpected gain. It seemed that the intensive pill refinement also had a beneficial effect on increasing his strength. Of course, although alchemy had some beneficial effects, it consumed too much vital energy. After finishing the last batch of medicinal ingredients, Yao Lao stopped him. Looking at Yao Lao's stern expression and his concern for him, Xiaoyan did not persist. Therefore, when he returned to his room for a nap, his life once again became leisurely. Slowly walking within the clan. Seeing the crowded training ground, Xiaoyan felt somewhat helpless. In the center of the arena, quite a few young clan members were cultivating diligently, sweating heavily. These people were all using the last few days to cultivate, hoping to qualify for the Jianan Academy. Standing outside the training ground, Xiaoyan glanced into the arena, then turned and left bored. He felt no sympathy for these people who normally didn't cultivate, but were now panicking at the last minute. Even after he recovered his cultivation talent, he never once neglected his training. Although their talent might not be high, they relied on the clan's power to cause trouble and flirt, which made Xiaoyan dislike them. The Jianan Academy's recruitment limit is not low. One must reach 8th segment Dou Qi before the age of 18. This strict condition crushed the dreams of many. Of course, judging with Xiaoyan's eyes, there would be no more than 2 people in the training arena now who met the recruitment criteria. With his hands clasped behind his head, Xiaoyan dismissed those people from his mind. He didn't care how many of them could eventually enter. Shaking his head, Xiaoyan turned into a small path, entering the back garden. He then saw a familiar figure, standing among a cluster of beautiful flowers, looking exquisitely beautiful. Narrowing his eyes at the perfect curves of the figure's back, a gentle look appeared on Xiaoyan's face. He smiled softly and slowly walked towards the girl in green, who was lost in thought. "Brother Xiaoyan, are you about to leave?" Before he even got close to the girl, a sad voice reached Xiaoyan's ears. Stopping his steps, Xiaoyan helplessly nodded. He slowly walked forward, standing side by side with Huan Ni. He turned his head, and saw her exquisite small face looked a little sad. He smiled and reached out his hand, gently rubbing Huan Ni's head. The cool sensation made him feel somewhat intoxicated. "Aren't you going to the Jianan Academy?" Allowing Xiaoyan to intimately rub her head, an action no other man besides Xiaoyan was permitted. Huan Ni said softly. "N." Nodding, Xiaoyan smiled faintly. "I have something I must do." "Is it because of Nalan Yanran?" Huan Ni's intelligent eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. She lightly bit her red lips and whispered. The hand that was rubbing Huan Ni's head subtly paused. Xiaoyan smiled calmly. "So many people witnessed the agreement that year. How can I go back on my word? If I did, even you would look down on me." Huan Ni's willow eyebrows slightly furrowed. She let out a soft sigh. Her mumbling voice was so quiet that only she could hear it. "If I had known, I shouldn't have let her leave alive that day. And don't worry. Once I complete this matter, I will come to the Jianan Academy to find you. And at most a year and a half, no. 1 year. Looking at the look of sorrow on Huan Ni's small face, Xiaoyan quickly corrected himself with a smile. "Brother Xiaoyan, actually. If you come with Huan Ni also has a way for you to defeat Nalan Yanran when you keep the appointment." Huan Ni bit her small mouth and pondered for a long while. She suddenly said with hesitation. With a bitter laugh. Xiaoyan shook his head. He sighed with a hint of self-mockery. "Girl, sometimes the things you say truly make me feel ashamed. I know Brother Xiaoyan won't think I'm a demoness." Huan Ni said with a sweet smile. Smiling softly, Xiaoyan gently shook his head. He looked up to the sky and sighed. He smiled. "Don't worry, I am confident. 1 year from now, the misty cloud sect, I will battle Nalan Yanran." Looking at the sudden surge of high spirit and boldness in Xiaoyan, Huan Ni helplessly shook her head. Just as she was about to speak to persuade him again, Xiaoyan suddenly turned around. He stretched out both arms and fiercely embraced Huan Ni's small waist, hugging her tightly. A light breeze blew through the flower garden. The green willow trees swayed softly. The youth tightly embraced the girl. Their two bodies perfectly intertwined, inseparable. Suddenly hugged by Xiaoyan, Huan Ni's small face flushed bright red. She weakly tried to resist, then stopped in embarrassment. A layer of captivating blush appeared on her face. "Huan Ni, 1 year from now, I will come to the Jianan Academy to find you. Wait for me." Burying her head in the youth's chest, the girl finally could only nod awkwardly. Walking along a small path, suddenly seeing the clan grounds empty, Xiaoyan shook his head with some helplessness. The Jianan Academy's recruitment team arrived in Wutian City today, and almost more than half of the clan members rushed out to see them. At this moment, the city gate was probably completely jammed with people. A bunch of maniacs. Going so early, do they really think that person will easily let you pass the test? Mooting to himself, Xiaoyan leisurely walked towards the back mountain. Every day at this time was his time to cultivate Do skills, and this had become a habit. This time, the recruitment team stopped in Wutian City, but they were also responsible for recruiting in the surrounding areas, including several nearby cities. Therefore, on the second day when Xiaoyan and the others rushed to the recruitment location, the recruitment spot was a large field, but it was so crowded that one could hardly see the end of the line, which naturally stunned everyone. On the large field, continuous noise rang out. Countless young people desperately pushed forward. If not for the city guards maintaining order on both sides, this crowd would have surely become agitated and rushed in without any restraint. Quietly looking at the sea of people, Xiaoyan sighed softly after a long while. He shook his head with a frustrated expression. Judging by the situation, he shouldn't expect to easily pass the test today. Humph, what's wrong? Is there no way? Looking at Xiaoyan's frustrated look, Xiaoyu, who was standing behind, talking with Huanni and Xiaomei, subtly snorted smugly. Rolling his eyes, Xiaoyan ignored her attitude. Cousin Xiaoyu, do you have a solution? Looking at the two about to start bickering, Xiaomei quickly smiled and changed the subject. The person in charge of recruitment in Wuten City this time is my mentor. She is her favorite student. I naturally have a solution. Xiaoyu tilted her slender nose and laughed heartily. She waved her hand, follow me. Looking at Xiaoyu slowly walking away. With her long, sensual legs, Xiaoyan helplessly spread his hands to Huanni, forget it. I won't argue with her. Hearing this, Huanni smiled and gently nodded. She and Xiaoyan walked along. The group followed Xiaoyu, walking around the large field for half a lap, finally stopping at the west side of the field. This place was behind the field. Heavily armed soldiers stood here in 2 or 3 layers. The cold light emanating from their weapons reflected the dazzling sunlight. His eyes swept over the strict defense here. Xiaoyu instructed Xiaoyan and the others. Then she walked forward herself. She took out a blue-green badge from her chest. After talking with a military officer for a long while, she finally waved to Xiaoyan and the others, signaling them to come over. The middle-aged officer's eyes swept over Xiaoyan and the others with a hint of chill. After a long while, he waved his hand and shouted, let them pass. Hearing the middle-aged officer's command, the soldiers wearing iron armor made a small opening. Xiaoyu smiled gratefully at the middle-aged officer, retrieved the badge, and smugly tossed her chin at Xiaoyan and the others. Then, led by the middle-aged officer, they walked in. Walking behind Xiaoyu, Xiaoyan, and the others also followed. As soon as they entered, everyone felt their skin turn slightly cold. The soldiers around them had expressionless faces. A faint smell of blood emanated from their bodies, making Xiaoyan and the others, who had never experienced this kind of military formation, feel their breathing quicken. These are soldiers who have experienced life and death on the battlefield. Slowly exhaling a breath, with his superior composure, Xiaoyan slowly suppressed the feeling of urgency within him. Licking his lips, his feet, which were initially weak, once again became steady and firm. No matter what, he was now a 4-star Do practitioner. His strength was stronger than most of the soldiers here. Although he lacked their aura, he wasn't afraid. The short distance of just over 10 steps felt like 1,000 steps for the group. Reaching the final step, everyone found that their palms were drenched in cold sweat. Xiaoyu's smiling face was slightly pale. She complained to the middle-aged officer with a bitter laugh, Senior Brother Ka. Why did you intentionally test us? This was Mentor Rua Lin's instruction. If you want to use the back door, you must naturally endure some trials. You all did quite well. My men have all slept with corpses. If you lacked composure, you would have been scared stiff halfway through. A hint of a smile appeared on the middle-aged officer's expressionless face. His gaze swept over Xiao Yu and the others, finally stopping at the calm faces of Huanni and Xiaoyan. His eyes revealed a hint of admiration. It seems Mentor Rua Lin might recruit some good students this time. Angrily glaring at the middle-aged officer, Xiaoyu waved her hand, pulling Xiaomei and Xiaoning, whose feet were weak, and quickly walked into the large field inside. Walking to the center of The field, a large green tent stood in the open space before their eyes. Here, Xiaoyan and the others could see quite a few people bustling inside. They occasionally spotted young men and women who had passed the test emerging from the passages, their faces excited as they entered the field. Knock Nhi. Just as they approached the large tent, a woman's laughter reached Xiaoyan's ears. A red figure quickly approached. She giggled and embraced Xiaoyu. Her hand fondled Xiaoyu's chest, teasingly saying, "Let me feel if you've gained weight recently. I wish I could do that." Happy face. Lewd woman, get off me. Xiaoyu scolded with a laugh, pushing the woman away. She turned around and introduced Xiaoyan and the others. "This is my good sister at Jianan Academy. Her name is Xue Ni, and she is a 4-star Dou practitioner." Hearing this, Xiaoyan and the others looked at the woman. She wore a red outfit. Her beautiful face was bright. Her long brown hair was casually tied into a ponytail. Her chest was full, her waist slender, and her bottom plump and smooth. Although her looks were slightly inferior to Xiaoyu's, her extremely fiery figure made many men crave her. In the brief moment of introduction, Xiaoyan noticed that many youths who had passed the test were subtly glancing at the woman's chest. Xiaoyu intimately pulled Xue Ni. Judging by her expression, their relationship was clearly good. "These are all my clan members. This is Huan Ni. Haha, beautiful, isn't she? But you can't have any ideas about her. She won't be interested in you. This is Xiao Mei, also very beautiful. This is my younger brother, Xiao Ning. And this person." Xiaoyu looked at Xiaoyan's bored expression. She bit her teeth, turned her head, and whispered into Xueni's ear, "This is the Xiaoyan I told you about before." Her eyes first swept over Huan Ni and Xiao Mei. Xueni's eyes shone with astonishment. "Wow! Your clan truly has many beautiful girls, ah. If they enter the Jianan Academy, it would be strange if they don't drive the male students crazy." "Ah?" Xiaoyan. After expressing her astonishment, Xue Ni suddenly froze. She looked at Xiaoyan in surprise. "Is this the cousin you said was stuck at 3-segment Douqi? He's quite handsome." "Ah?" Xiaoyu exclaimed. She fiercely pinched the talkative girl beside her. She looked ashamed and embarrassed as she explained to Xiaoyan, "I didn't mention anything about you to others. I just talked nonsense in my sleep once and this woman overheard it." Frowning, Xiaoyan pursed his lips. He looked at her and said teasingly, "You even think about me in your sleep? Since when did our relationship become so good? I only briefly fondled you that year." "Shut up." Hearing Xiaoyan say this, Xiaoyu's face flushed with shame. Her long, sensual legs fiercely kicked at Xiaoyan. Casually leaning back to dodge, Xiaoyan rubbed his hand, having gained a point of advantage, and stopped mocking her. "You fondled what? Did you fondle Knock Nhi?" Xue Ni asked with a curious expression. She was fiercely pinched by Xiaoyu again. "Knock Nhi, you are so heartless. How could you assault your former lover?" Xue Ni complained, showing the red mark left by the pinch. "Stop joking. I still need to take them to the test." Pushing Xue Ni away with a forced laugh, Xiaoyu scolded. "Ha, let's go. Follow me. I'll take you." Xueni's expression returned to normal. Just as she was about to turn around, her steps suddenly halted. She tilted her head and smiled. "Oh right, I forgot to tell you. Luobo is also with the recruitment team this time. And he advanced to 4-star Dou practitioner on the way here." Hearing this, Xiaoyu's smiling face instantly sank. She said with some impatience, "Why is that hateful guy here? Isn't it because of the great beauty Xiaoyu? He traveled a long distance and he misses you day and night," Xue Ni teased. Biting her teeth slightly, Xiao Yu's face changed for a moment. She suddenly turned around and stared intently at Xiao Yan. Why are you looking at me? Don't tell me you want me to pretend to be your boyfriend. I'm not interested in you, and I won't do it. Looking at Xiao Yu's gaze, Xiao Yan was shrewd enough to know this woman's intention. He immediately laughed coldly. He then ignored her angry gaze and walked swaggering towards the tent ahead. Ah! Knock Nhi, did your charm decrease? Something so good in the academy is something many people would fight for, yet this little brat actually ignores you. Looking at Xiao Yan's back, Shui Ni seemed a little incredulous. Xiao Yu bit her teeth resentfully and said angrily, that guy is just a weirdo. How can you judge him by common sense? Besides that abnormal demoness in the academy, have you ever met anyone who went from 3-segment Do Chi to 3-star Do practitioner in 1 year? Hearing this, Xueni's mouth slightly gaped. Her smiling expression showed shock. She hadn't thought that this seemingly delicate youth actually had such terrifying cultivation talent. And Xiao Yu claimed he was the clan's trash. Xiao Yan slowly walked towards the tent. Xiao Yu followed behind, looking resentfully at his back, grinding her teeth in anger. She hadn't thought that fellow would be so completely disrespectful to her. The group approached the large green tent, seeing more than 10 young men and women sitting comfortably inside, chatting among themselves. Judging by their relaxed demeanor, they were likely all students of the Jianan Academy, just like Shui Ni. Outside the tent, more than 20 young men and women sat outside, enduring the scorching sun. Although the high temperature made their faces stream with sweat, their expressions were full of restraint. Judging by their appearance, they had just passed the new student test outside. Inside the tent, several female students were chatting. They suddenly looked up and saw Xiao Yu and the others slowly approaching. Joy appeared on their faces. A group of women giggled and approached, instantly surrounding Xiao Yu, chattering and laughing non-stop. Being surrounded so suddenly made Xiao Yan and the others, who weren't used to it, momentarily stunned. Xiao Yan's eyes swept over the few beautiful female students. Looking at their joyful expressions, Xiao Yan realized that Xiao Yu's relationship with everyone in the academy was truly good. Oh my, I beg you, can you all restrain yourselves a bit? Xiao Yu said helplessly, pushing away the girls who were making mischief on her body. Knock Nhi, I haven't seen you in 2 months. You've gotten much plumper, ah. Be honest, did you, N? A beautiful girl's hand secretly touched Xiao Yu's chest, then pressed her shoulder against Xiao Yu's chest, teasingly saying. Standing beside them, Xiao Yan helplessly let out a breath. He looked at Xiao Yu with a strange gaze. Are all this girl's friends lecherous women? Get lost, you pervert. Stop it. Xiao Yu's face flushed slightly with a forced laugh as she pushed the girl away. Seeing her preparing to advance again, Xiao Yu quickly ducked behind. She pointed at Xiao Yan and the others and hurriedly introduced them one by one. Only then did the group of women stop their teasing. Heh, truly beautiful little beauties. Their eyes swept over Huan Ni and Xiao Mei. The excellent looks of the two girls made the women involuntarily sigh in awe. Their gazes slowly shifted to Xiao Yan standing beside them. As for Xiao Ning, he was fortunate enough to be ignored by these women, because he was Xiao Yu's biological younger brother. Although Xiao Yan was 3 years younger than Xiao Yu, after a year of hard cultivation, his physique was now comparable to Xiao Yu's. His face was delicate, but upon closer inspection, a mysterious maturity, inconsistent with his age, appeared. This conflicting feeling made the women glance at him repeatedly. Heh. Such a handsome, good-looking youth. Knock Nhi, is this your cousin? Not your brother, right? Be honest, did you secretly sneak him in? Hearing the woman raise such a topic, a slight twitch appeared At the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth, who was silently listening. He looked at Xiao Yu with a strange gaze. Hearing the women's teasing, Xiao Yu's smiling face suddenly turned into a look of embarrassed anger and helplessness. Just as she was about to explain, the corner of her eye caught sight of a male figure quickly approaching. Her smiling face subtly changed. Xiao Yu's willow eyebrows slightly arched. A hint of shy redness faintly appeared on her face. She hissed, "He is not related to me by blood. You shouldn't tease him. He has been sensitive since he was young." Hearing this, the women were stunned. Looking at Xiao Yu's uncharacteristically embarrassed look, the women exchanged glances. They were only joking, yet Xiao Yu was seriously explaining. Moreover, her tone was truly like defending a lover. Huan Ni and the others were also stunned by Xiao Yu's intimate tone. They exchanged glances. A fog arose in their minds. They wondered when Xiao Yan and Xiao Yu's relationship became so good. Standing beside her, Xiao Yan's eyes looked coldly at the woman's performance. The corner of his mouth curled. He was about to directly speak up and expose her, but Xiao Yu was quick. She grabbed his wrist and intimately brushed the dust off Xiao Yan's body. Seeing Xiao Yu's sudden action, the surrounding people were instantly stunned. Had they ever seen Xiao Yu treat a man like this? "Xiao Yu. It's been a long time." A man's voice suddenly rang out. Hearing this voice, everyone subtly turned their heads. A youth in white clothes stood behind them, smiling. This youth was somewhat handsome, but the overly bright smile on his face made Xiao Yan, and the others feel it, was somewhat artificial. Xiao Yu's embarrassed expression slowly subsided. She subtly turned around. Her jade hand still held Xiao Yan's wrist. She glanced at the youth and said indifferently, "Luobo, long time no see." Smiling and nodding, the youth called Luobo's gaze casually swept over their joined hands. His pupils looked at Xiao Yan, vaguely revealing a hint of coldness and anger. Are these the people you brought?" Luobo asked, stepping forward with a smile. Nodding casually, Xiao Yu introduced Xiao Yan, and the others one by one again. She smiled and said, "I brought them here for the test." "Oh, is that so?" Luobo smiled and nodded. He took out a red crystal ball the size of a fist from his chest. He held it up and smiled. "Just in time. Mentor Ruolin just gave me a testing crystal. Let them try it. This testing crystal is exactly the same as the one in the passage. If they don't want to use mine, they'll have to wait a while longer." Hearing this, Xiao Yu hesitated for a moment, then nodded. She tilted her head and gently explained to Xiao Yan and the others, "This testing crystal is very simple. As long as your strength reaches 8 segment Do Qi, it will automatically light up, and you will pass the test. Let go of my hand." Xiao Yan glanced at her and said indifferently, "Oh." Xiao Yu smiled brightly and nodded. She very intelligently let go of his hand. Seeing Xiao Yu's compliant manner, the youth named Luobo, who was holding the crystal ball, clenched his fist slightly tighter. "Huan Ni, you try first." Rubbing his red wrist that Xiao Yu had gripped, Xiao Yan smiled at Huan Ni. Smiling and nodding, Huan Ni, Xiao Mei, and Xiao Ning stepped forward. Their palms rested on the crystal ball for a moment. Only when the crystal ball lit up did they retreat. Seeing the three succeed, Xiao Yan also casually stepped forward and touched it. He also received the same result. Rest assured. If they hadn't passed the test, I wouldn't have brought them here myself. Looking at the 4 successful candidates, Xiao Yu said indifferently. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just protocol." Smiling apologetically at Xiao Yu, Luobo put away the crystal ball. He pointed outside the tent, where several young men and women were enduring the sun. He smiled and said to Xiao Yan and the others, "Congratulations on passing the test. Now please sit here and wait for half an hour." "Luobo, what do you mean?" Hearing this, Xiao Yu's willow eyebrows stood up, and she shouted with an icy expression. "Xiao Yu, you are an old student. You should know the rules after being accepted. New students are becoming increasingly arrogant now, so they need to be properly humbled upon acceptance. This will only benefit their lives in the academy later, not harm them." Luobo laughed. "Humph, Luobo. I don't care if you say this to other new students, but you shouldn't use this rule against the people I brought." Xiao Yu said coldly. "It is the rule." Luobo's mouth curved. Xiao Yu shouting at him like this in front of everyone made anger and jealousy rise in his heart. "Luobo, don't make things difficult. You know yourself that this rule is not mandatory. Why stir up trouble like this?" The girls beside Xiao Yu also disagreed with Luobo's action, frowning as they spoke. I apologize. They unfortunately passed the test in my area. According to the rules, I will temporarily supervise them during this period." Luobo smiled brightly. Seeing Xiao Yu getting angry again, he suddenly said, "All right, to give you face, they don't all have to go outside. Just one representative is enough." I think I'll have to trouble this brother to go outside." After all you are a big man. You shouldn't be afraid of the sun, ha." Luobo's finger moved, sweeping over Xiao Yan and the others, finally stopping in front of Xiao Yan with a smile. Xiao Yan looked up indifferently looking at the young man's smiling face. "Get lost. Xiao Yan will not go out. I will talk to Mentor Ruolin myself. You don't need to lay a hand on him here." Xiao Yu's long, sensual legs took a step forward. She shielded Xiao Yan, saying in a cold voice, "Oh my. Brother Luobo, it seems you have a problem here." Just as the group was arguing endlessly, several male students walked out of the tent with chuckles. "It's nothing. Just that this new student doesn't want to go out and sunbathe," Luobo said casually. "Heh. It's been a long time since I've seen such an arrogant new student. Brother Luobo, do you want our assistance?" A youth wearing a golden badge on his chest laughed at Luobo. A hint of ingratiation was in his smile. Smiling and nodding, Luobo looked at Xiao Yu's gloomy face. He pondered for a moment. He suddenly smiled and said, "How about this? He doesn't have to go outside, but there are many new students watching. If we let them stay inside without enduring the sun, it will likely cause dissatisfaction." Saying this, Luobo patted the shoulder of the youth beside him and smiled at Xiao Yan. "If you don't want to go outside, you'll have to spar with Guerlat a bit. You don't need to defeat him. Just lasting 20 moves is enough." Hearing this, the girls beside Xiao Yu immediately shouted in anger. Seeing the current situation, they had already understood. This guy was clearly jealous of Xiao Yan and was using his authority for personal revenge. Compared to the angry girls shouting, Xiao Yu was strangely silent. She turned her head, her eyes fixed on Xiao Yan. She knew that Xiao Yan's current strength was definitely no weaker than hers. Dealing with a one-star Do practitioner wouldn't be difficult. Ignoring Xiao Yu staring intently at him, Xiao Yan calmly looked at Luo Bo's bright, smiling face. A trace of coldness appeared in his eyes. He normally didn't like trouble, but this guy was relentlessly pushing his luck. Even if he had to fight, Xiao Yan wasn't afraid of him. If he made him angry, he had killed and destroyed corpses before. Although Luo Bo's hostility towards him was due to a misunderstanding, Xiao Yan didn't have the time to explain. To be polite, Luo Bo wasn't even qualified. Furthermore, although he usually bickered and joked with Xiao Yu, Xiao Yan didn't want her to be deceived by this deceitful person. Hearing Xiao Yan's blunt words, Luo Bo's smiling face once again turned gloomy. His cold eyes stared fixedly at Xiao Yan. His face twitched slightly. His pupils were chilling, as if wanting to stab Xiao Yan into 10,000 pieces. Towards this meaningless gaze, Xiao Yan ignored him directly. His delicate face smiled calmly. Compared to the opponent's deceitful smile, his honest calmness clearly made people feel more goodwill. You arrogant brat. When you come to the Jianan Academy, your senior brother will take good care of you. Luo Bo gritted his teeth, and said with a cold laugh. Rubbing his face. Xiao Yan said softly, I don't know about other places, but do you believe that I can keep you from leaving Wuten City? His pupils slightly contracted. Luo Bo's mouth twitched. He stared at the youth in front of him. A hint of coldness faintly appeared in his pitch-black eyes. His body involuntarily trembled. The coldness hidden in those pitch-black eyes made Luo Bo's heart feel a vague chill, just like the time he encountered a ferocious magical wolf alone on a mission before. Quietly swallowing a mouthful of saliva, Luo Bo intended to threaten him back, but he swallowed his words. Good. Luo Bo secretly sighed. He seemed to want to dispel this humiliation. He gritted his teeth, and nodded to Xiao Yan. He had already made up his mind. If he got the chance in the future, he would definitely foster a good relationship with this brat. Indifferently looking at Luo Bo, Xiao Yan was inwardly considering whether he should keep this guy in Wuten City forever to avoid future trouble. Just then, a gentle female voice chuckled from inside the tent. That young man's talent is truly not bad. It seems I've found a treasure this time,